Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Greatest Good Tarot. Hope you're doing well and trying to keep out of mischief. This is a tarot reading for the BBC. Yes, the BBC, the future of the BBC, how's it going, that kind of stuff. This is one of 4 types of readings that we do on this channel. If you are new here, we do current events readings. We do timeless collective readings. This prediction reading, as an example. And for our Village Elites, which is our membership side on YouTube, we have general vibes readings. If you're intrigued about that, there is a freebie version between Trump and Harris. That's on the channel right now. That's open, free for all. Just to give an example of what we do. That's a deep dive. I do like them. I learn too much, way too much, almost like gossip level too much. So if that's something you're interested in, if that kind of intrigues you, then please click that subscribe button, ding-a-ling that bell. If you enjoy this reading, please click that like button as well. That'd be gorgeous. And in the comments down below, your thoughts about this subject. And that's also where you can put in your suggestions for future readings across these yummy things as well. That is all. I'll tell you what's really cool is fellow viewers are also liking up or liking down and all that kind of stuff, other people's suggestions, which I'm loving. That we've got kind of Reddit happening in our comment section. That's brilliant. So sincerely, thank you so much for everybody who's doing that. Thank you so much for people who are joining us in the subscriptions. Yeah, it's just been amazing last couple of weeks. So yes. So I just feel like I need to kind of preface this. Is the BBC screwed right now? Yes. Is it its own doing? Partly. The reason why I've decided to do this reading is I saw on the interwebs the shenanigans of the BBC is getting rid of some news jobs. That's the professional term, news, over there, saving £24 million, which is like a thimble size. It's like single figure % of how much they need to save, generally speaking. It is just a drop in the bucket. This goes on top of them selling the BBC studios over at Elm Street, where obviously Eastenders is the main highlight here, but I think that's where they also do Strictly Come Dancing and a few other things. Bearing in mind, Netflix was filming next door to them in the same hangar, studio space. It's a bloody hangar. Doing The Crown. So you had Strictly Come Dancing in one half of the hangar. On the other half of the hangar was inside of all the kind of like the palaces and stuff like that. So it's a bit weird. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is a lot of people have been kind of taught that, well, I pay for Netflix, blah, blah, blah. Netflix subscription, HD kind of thing, works out more expensive per year than a BBC license fee. Now, does the BBC deserve its license fee right now? No, it doesn't. The stuff they're producing primarily is a big pile of donkey turd. That's a technical term. It's just kind of a bit like pushed pillar and post of stupid people making stupid decisions. Remember, this is the same place that brought us Morecambe and Wise, Only Fools and Horses, Red Dwarf, Vicar of Dibley, so on. So, like, if it wasn't for the BBC, Red Dwarf wouldn't exist, because the Series 1, Series 2, Top Gear, Series 1 and Series 2 were rubbish, but they then got to, like, Series 20-something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a place where they can actually test things and make things happen and all that jazz, right? However, they are their own worst enemy. Doctor Who is rubbish. I was just trying to think of words, polite words, is rubbish. But let's use the comparison as an example between the BBC and Netflix, what you get, because people have been kind of peer pressured by self-interest groups like and like Sky B is the number one, and ITV is like joint number one of trying to get rid of the BBC. And also remember, for the people who are a bit younger, Channel 4 was supposed to be the answer to the BBC's woes to get rid of the licence fee back in the 80s. How's that doing? It's been bailed out twice, 3 times off the top of my head, something like that. But what people do not understand, like forget, it's not understand. They do understand, right? But they forget because it's not talked about, and I wanted to be clear on that. Is that all of the BBC radio stations that also goes into that license fee as well. Now, some people may say, well, I don't need them, I don't listen to them and all that kind of stuff. That's fair enough. But we've got the national ones. I just want to set the stage before we go into this. The national ones, you've then got the regional ones. Who knew there was two part-time radio stations for Orkney and Shetland? Then obviously you've got Wales, you've got Northern Ireland, you've then got the regional local stations, which just keeps going on and on and on and on. And this is all part of, and that's before we get to kind of like 7-8 channels of TV and ITV and the iPlayer and all that jazz. Okay, so Netflix is just the iPlayer, right? And they're spending billions per year. I think the last figure I heard they were commissioning on Netflix was $16 billion for programming. So there's a reason why they're the big ones, okay? Because they're spending a lot of money, but also the regions, they're worldwide, BBC, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what they do with the BBC World, worldwide, which is their commercial side, is just tomfoolery and run by muppets, in my humble opinion. However, I do not believe people realise what will happen, especially some like if you've gone abroad and like stayed over there or lived over there for a couple of years and realised the sort of telly and the standard of telly over there compared to over here. But it's been ruined, in my humble opinion, on purpose by self-interest groups. Bearing in mind, at a blink of an eye, the BBC then is forced to produce Freeview as a platform, which is available in Australia and a few other places, right? And now Freely, that is now being released as well, right? So at the drop of a hat, they do projects, frivolous projects they're being like bullied to do. On the same time, they're giving free to access sport, for example, and movies and all that kind of stuff on top of the radio stations and everything else. And Netflix just does dramas and buys stuff in. Yeah, as a comparison, I'm just saying, right? And Netflix is more expensive. So I'm just saying the problem that I think, from my personal experience, just so that we all understand where I'm coming from, is that it's just gone woke, too woke, and those people are decreeing what is being produced, and it's quite literally low-hanging fruit crap. The BBC used to be a standard to try and achieve, and now the BBC is the lowest denominator programming. That's what's happened. That's what people are annoyed by, including myself. Don't get me wrong, I am miffed. Because name another organisation that you can call in when there's issues and problems and reflect issues in your local community. Is a BBC radio station, local radio. They ain't doing that on Heart or Greatest Hits. They ain't doing it over there. All they're doing is wanting you to text in for £2 plus your standard network for you to win a possible couple of quadrillions. You know what I mean? It's a completely. We know what's now available. Global radio buying up all the local radio stations. So Heart is everywhere, okay, on those frequencies, and they're all being relayed from London. So there is no local kind of representation anymore, only on local radio, BBC radio, right? So it's just like, it's one of those situations where I think that we're being kind of ushered into a situation where we don't realise what we're allowing ourselves in for. This is kind of like the new BT phone lines, which are not phone lines all over again. That's another thing entirely. But anyway, we're being hoodwinked is my situation. Anyway, now I've set my stage. You can set your stage in the comments down below. So the future of the BBC. What's going on with the future of the BBC? For the greatest good for all concerned. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Always be appreciative. Infinite growth, exactly. But they've been cut to smithereens. Yeah, because of this. They're doomed if they are. They're doomed if they do. They're doomed if they don't. This is instantly the devil card came down. It's like they're constantly, because of the unique way of they're funded. They're buggered. They can't keep anyone happy. No one's happy, and that's one of the reasons why. As an example, just an example, the BBC in the UK compared to everywhere else. BBC in the UK, we're still one of the only countries left in the world that gets the Olympics for free. Admittedly, I don't like watching people prance around in leotards, but some people do, and that's fine, and that's good. Across Europe, those rights are now owned by Eurosport, which I believe is a Discovery company. So, but the BBC is one of the last ones that own it themselves. You know, they've got a direct thing still. All other public broadcasting services across Europe were just bid out. They were like that. The end of contract is coming, and then they went for bid, and that's why Eurosport now own them, right? So it's one of those situations where I don't think we don't realise how good we've got it over here. But at the same time, they're watering them their output down so badly. It's like they're doomed if they do, doomed if they, because this is the watering down. It feels like, I know the cups is here, but this is the cut back kind of like we're like, oh, we're billions over budget. We've got to cut back. Blah, 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 blah. Queen of Cups is kind of like this emotional connection to the things like, well, we're the same place that produce kind of like, you know, we can still produce good stuff, and we like harking back to the good old days kind of energy that is actually. The Queen of Cups is the one in charge for me in the cups, if you're new here. But it's just that thing. It's like you've got so many possibilities here, but you're just cutting back, and the fear of doomed if you do, doomed if you don't, kind of restricted, kind of locked down. They've got this passion. They want to make it happen. Trying to work out what to do. Ooh. The The King of Matches does not feel like the BBC. The King of Matches feels almost like the Vultures, kind of like, oh, we could buy that, and we could buy that, and we could buy that. It's like the BBC was basically kicked out the BBC television centre, and then lo and behold, and it was going to be condemned and demolished, and then a couple of years later, ITV are now based there with This Morning and stuff like that, and it's just known as Television Centre. It's that kind of thing. There's a reason why everybody's beating up on the BBC, because they can then get the resources, you know. They've done the investment, and they're there for the plucking. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting here. The Night of Matches it's like the management they have the passion for it. They just like, they want to succeed, but it's bombarding. And this is why we've got the Four of Cups here, this kind of reflection, contemplation, kind of where do we go from here? How do we do it? So one side is kind of like, ooh, how many crown jewels can we nick? And the other side is trying to keep it afloat. Wheel of Fortune upright on their side, on the BBC side. Good luck, good karma, good destiny. Two of Buttons. or pentacles. They're like this side, the vultures are looking at, oh, what are the priorities? What do we want to kind of nick? What do we want to get going? What do we, this, that, and the other. So, this is, but it's going to be victorious. It's going to definitely be a slimmed down thing. But the issue here is they're looking at it as just like a monetary transaction. They're not seeing it as for quality, And I think that's the biggest problem. Everything's now the lowest common denominator. And that's the betrayal of it. Overarching energy, this betrayal. Everyone's being deceived by what's really going on. Oh, we've got Hawk Lady, underarching energy. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. This, for me, feels as if very strongly that there are still awesomeness. We've grown this garden. If you imagine the Nine of Pentacles, which is the baby Empress as well. There's 3 Empresses in the deck. This one, she's watered and nurtured the garden, and in fact, it's not actually a proper garden. It's a vineyard. So it takes even longer and much more focus on the work and the efforts and stuff like that. So even though that's underlying, you've got so many back to the crown jewels. We've got so much abundance here. We've got so much opportunity here. We've got so much sexy here, but it's just been deceived and cut out and snipped back, and everyone's kind of pillaging. And they're not helping themselves by just cookie cutter BS. Who wants the one show? Can someone... I was literally just about to ask you, can people screw it, I'm going to do it. Can anyone put their hand up and actually go, oh, the one show, it's amazing. I fondle with my nip-nips every time I hear the one. It's like, really? Are you... Because if I was in charge, and one day, you never know, but one day, if I was in charge, the first thing I would do is bring back Watchdog. The first thing, Anne Robinson will get her out of her freezer, her cryogenic chamber, get her back out here with her deathly stare, get her in front of a camera again, and hold people to account. It's amazing how since the Watchdog and stuff like that, what's the other one? Rogue Traders, wasn't it? I know that these are now part of one rubbish magazine crud, but no one wants that. No one wants that. But it's they can't compete too much, or then they'll get slapped down for being too good. It's but yeah, that's the first thing I would do. I would flash a bit of ankle to Martin Lewis and go, what will it take to get you to come over here on the BBC under Watchdog? We'll even do you could do a Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure some people one. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, have the one show in the same studio. Just flick a switch, change the color scheme, the lights, and a couple of images on the monitors. You can have Tuesday, you can have Watchdog, and then on Thursday you can have Martin Lewis, and it'd be that would be it. There you go. That's your basic new start to a new way of doing things. The quality is back. But anyway, what would I know? What would I know just sitting here in my ivory tower? Anyway, so no, I've been told to do some people like them, some people hate them. The prediction deck people. Here we go. So what do we need to know about the future of the BBC? Here we go. So now we've got the base level for the new people. We understand what's going on, the background knowledge. What's the future like for the BBC? What Pinky? The greatest good for all... Really? The greatest good for all... Because that was the lamest cut I've ever had. I think it was 2 cars just went... Tensions, joining forces. It was interesting because just before I started doing this reading, I was like God Spirit Universe was reminding me, and I'm sure it was this one, but I may be wrong by the name or like the program. But I remember as I was a kid then, and then I kind of learned about it a bit more at college when I was a bit older and a bit more hairier. Was the I believe Channel 4 in some like the late 90s was on the brink. And once again, the BBC were asked to try and bail them out, kind of thing. And one of the deals was, and I don't think it is this, but it was definitely something like this. One of the deals was, I don't think I've got the program right, but I think it was Gulliver's Travels, or I'm going to say Gulliver's Travels, but I don't think it is. I think it was something like that, maybe Robin Hood or something, where some episodes were on the BBC and some episodes were on Channel 4, and people would, like, each episode would flick-flop between the two as a way to kind of bring Channel 4 back from the brink. Like we've talked about Freeview, we've talked about BBC Learning Zone. Well, we haven't, but there we go. They invented the red button. Do you know the red button only exists in 2 countries around the world out of 200 countries? Teletext and the red button only exist here and in the Netherlands. Nowhere else in the world. When you refer to the red button, they think you're talking about the off switch. Like foreign types. They don't understand that it was a whole service behind it. Stuff like, we've been spoiled over here and we don't even realise it. Mountains to climb. Spreading though. It's there's a lot of, like, this partnership, this kind of doobly-doo here doesn't feel... I think it's sleeping with the enemy here a little bit, and I don't know. All the same girl kind of back. So we've got mosquito and spreading. So I think the mosquito here is the irritants at the like the Daily Mail, constantly kind of irritant, kind of like saying what to do. And then you've got similar thing happening on, if you're especially in the Doctor Who fandom, the Daily Mirror constantly kind of ruins stuff because the BBC can't lie. They can't keep a secret. So the Daily, there's 2 particular journalists over there who are, in my humble opinion, bearing in mind Doctor Who right now is absolute crud, and it has been for about 5 years, 6 years. Maybe even longer than that. But when they hear something, a rumor, they then do an official kind of contact officially the BBC and Doctor Who and stuff like that. And obviously, because they know a little bit of gossip, the BBC's got, oh yes, yeah, we're having this person in, or we're doing that thing and that kind of stuff, spoiling it all. So the Daily Mirror, I order. But to be honest, I don't care because it's rubbish. Could you imagine the Daily Mirror being able to contact Netflix and like ask them about their kind of series finale of a particular hot thing, right? And Netflix having to tell them, it's like, oh, we're going to finish off this amazing thing by ... And then they'll go and print it for them. You know what I mean? It's just evidence of a scandal. That we know which scandals we're talking about there, the obvious ones, but I am very aware of people have had to go through it, and that's why I don't like talking about it. You know what I mean? So it's like we know what scandals we're talking about there. So many people, yeah. Underground in hiding, but the wars are. They've got their head in the sand, like ostrich. That's what, instantly when I put that down, it's like the management of the BBC don't realise what on earth, like what is actually going on. And then you've got some that are just assuming that it's the BBC is going to be there forever, kind of almost spoiled kid, kind of, it's reflecting again, bloody flipping. There's nowhere else. Oh, by the way, the leaf blowers are out at this time. That's what, I don't know whom it is, but that's what it is in the background. And the last one here is consequences, damage is done. Yeah, exactly. It's like an arrogance. It's like, it doesn't matter. We'll keep going. But so many shots are being fired by the battleship that it's like the damage is already done. It's like the fact that this reading is even existing kind of thing. Is the damage is done. So it's uprooted, overarching energy, underarching burnout. So it's very much kind of on the brink. It's stupid. It's stupid. And I'll tell you the real reason behind this reading. Okay. And I do not have, I like having these conversations. If you want to put them, your thoughts down below. Do you think Ofcom are going to disappear when suddenly they're not getting any money in from live broadcasting when everyone goes online? Do you genuinely, honestly think that Ofcom and all their regulations they've put in over the last decade or 3 or 10 or whatever are just going to close the doors? All right, lads, there's no more live broadcasting. There's no more terrestrial telly box. It's all good. Have some cake. Here's a clock. We all retire now. No. I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen, and we're all being pushed towards it as like lemmings, is that you'll have to have a license to broadcast online. You'll have to, which you don't right now. You need a license to broadcast music online for the royalties and stuff like that, but you don't. You can stream and do many things, but do you genuinely think when Channel 4 in their plans of like 2027, 2030 kind of era, they've been flapping about being exclusively online? That's why all 4 and more, like all that, like 4OD, all that crap is all just been branded by Channel 4 now across the board. It's that they're preparing to do that. And like other stations like ITV are pretty much doing many things to get people ready to just purely be on ITVX and all that kind of stuff. Do you genuinely think they're not going to have to keep buying a license? And that is just going to be, everybody else is going to be hooked up into it. It's on the, it's just inevitable. It's not, they're not just going to, all right, lads, see you later. It was a good run while it lasted. It's just going to be more people being sucked into the system, which means more speech is then suddenly restricted. So, just be wary of this, please. Be very wary. I've been bashing on about this for about a year now on Twitch. It's like, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen, and it's just, you can see it from a mile off what's going to happen. Well, I can, and that's why I'm now sharing it with you. Because then YouTube will be suddenly under regulation in some respects, right? Because then it's a level platform. We're all via online. Yeah. Oh, suddenly Twitch will then be having to have licenses and like regulate what can and cannot be said, even more restricted, because it's law then on their platform. Same here on YouTube and TikTok and all those up, because it's all the same delivery system. Then that's what's going to happen if it keeps getting pushed this way. Anyway, so what how's this going to continue? Where are we going from here? For the greatest good for all concerned. Thank you. Ten of Pentacles. Ooh, okay, it's not quite what I was expecting. Six of Pentacles, selling off the family jewels, kind of a much more leaner, moving forward in a much more leaner way, selling off stuff that they don't need, cut back. Eight of Cups, heading towards a new endeavour, going online. So everything's online. The BBC's calming down, chilling out. This is the selling of Eastenders studio and then getting it, like renting it back, right, to keep on filming. This is the sort of stupidity that they're doing, and it's like, okay, we're calming down, we've met the concerns and all that kind of stuff, and we can move on and like go to our new Nine of Cups, our new manifesting goals, our new situations, and off we go. No. Oh, you absolute pillocks. You absolute middle manager. Okay, swear word incoming in 3. Bunch of wankers. You really are. They have no idea where they want to go. It's buzzword central. They don't actually know what they're building. They just know that, we'll sell off there's no plan. There's no plan here of what they're trying to manifest in. They just know they need to get out of the BS right now of like certain news presenters issues and other like scandals and stuff like that to try and get into calmer waters to manifest in this new, but they have no flipping idea what they actually want to build. Oh, you pillocks. Oh, it just hurts sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Being surrounded by imbeciles, it just hurts. Have you noticed this? It just hurts. So we got 10 of Cups. Oh yeah, I'm sure they're really happy. Taking a leap of faith, yeah, because they've got no idea what they're bloody doing. The Two of Wands, for people who don't know, is like making a choice, that kind of stuff. But when I laid it down, it's like in the back of my, like as a download, I got a choice between what? And that's why it's like, hold on, they ain't got a plan. It's like, and suddenly that erupted into, anyway. Only here do we purposely condemn the institutions we're actually part of. Purposefully, to keep our jobs. I'm being reminded of like the post office scandal. I'm being reminded of parts of the NHS, the BBC. It's just like all our institutions, they just have all these people that are only vested interest is keep their job. They don't actually seem to do anything. And this is, anyway, sorry. So, I am a little fiery today, aren't I? I was a little fiery. But yeah, so the 10 of Cups, the Fool card, taking this leap of faith, they genuinely are going, the Ace of Wands here, but they're generally going off a cliff. That's the energy I'm getting here. It's like they don't genuinely know where they're going, and that it's just a buzzword salad. It is genuinely a buzzword salad. Ace of Wands, they're passionate. They've got an aha moment. They finally come to a conclusion. They have some ideas, but all they're interested in is the wounded warrior, defending their ground, defending their institution, and by any means possible, by selling off the family jewels, getting out of the madness they're in. 8 of Cups, trying to manifest something, but they don't know what they go. Underlying 7. See what I mean? 7 of Cups. We've moved on now. Now what do we fancy, lads? What do we fancy building? What do we fancy doing? Instead of having a plan of action now of where they're going towards. Do you see what I'm saying? And the only reason, just because I'm interested in media and that's what I used to do years ago and was trained in it and stuff. So I've always got kind of as like a little hobby, keep an eye out of what's happening over there. It's like the only reason Channel 4 is close to bankruptcy, basically. And the reason why they're moving over to a purely, which is called IPTV, internet-based, is Internet Protocol Television. Basically, it's like YouTube. This is technically IPTV. Technically. If you squint, there's very little difference between it. That's why they're moving across, so that they can save an absolute fortune. And I'll tell you where this started, from what I can gather, just so that you can really get an understanding about what the tomfoolery and the Parliament screwing the BBC over and all that kind of stuff. Okay, the BBC, what Pinky, like BT, okay, and BT Wholesale, which is separate to, or Openreach, it's now, that kind. We all know that Openreach and BT are the same thing, but like they're kind of like one operates the network and is neutral. The other one is a thriving company, that kind of thing. So that's the difference, okay? And some moron in Parliament, primarily, but there were many other vested interests, I will have you know. At some, I think this was the 90s, early noughties. Sorry, I found a coffee. I'm getting irate, but this is the sort of stupidity that we're talking about here. Just to give you an insight. The BBC, basically, one of its arms, one of its kind of tentacles, one of its many logos, many things, operated the transmitter sites, right? Worked together with ITV and all that kind of stuff. They kind of made a deal, blah blah blah, stuff, history, etc. But the broadcast sites for the aerials, right? And that was all well and good, and it was all working, and it was lovely and stuff. But the BBC, it's a monopoly, even though it's not. And it's we've got to have competition, even though it's just literally a transmitter site. Why would you need a competition? And all other things. So this is the stupidness, right? The stupidness of digital when that rolled out, and it happened just before this as well. But it's like basic stuff. Breathe. So the BBC would transmit everybody to the transmitter sites, and then it all went out. Lovely. But then they decided at some point, B Sky B needs to get involved in here somewhere for no good reason. So you then suddenly had a scenario where the BBC and everybody else beams their signal up to Sky on their network, which they already were anyway, and then terrestrial telly, the transmitter sites, would then take that signal back down to then beam it out from the transmitter sites. Even though the BBC was doing kind of a different way of doing it, and it was working lovely, it was a relay system, and it was lovely and gorgeous, and it all worked fine, and nobody had an issue with it. But then all of a sudden, suddenly this company came in, and everybody had to pay for it. So suddenly it went from you've got a license, you scratch our back, we scratch your back, it's all good kind of thing, blah blah blah, stuff like that. It all kind of balanced out, absolutely fine. And then all of a sudden, when the digital switchover was coming in, all of a sudden B Sky B was there, and everybody had to kind of pay for that privilege. Bunny flop flop. Now some people sold it, didn't mean it's true. It sold it as, well, you're already paying, I think, let's bring a random figure out of our flappy bot here to give us, £30,000 a year. It's probably about right, maybe a bit more back then, for you to beam onto Sky Network, to Sky. So you're basically already paying for that. So so it's just making it a much more, easier system to manage, less engineers, to bring down that signal to then beam it out again on the terrestrial digital aerial side of things. What actually happened was that Sky would then get a crap ton more money for the same system that already existed. Yeah. And if anybody else, if like Channel 6 would want to come along, right? It won't anymore, but you get the idea. They would have to pay Sky not only for to be listed on their system, which is we're talking about like the price of a 3-bedroom house, kind of like to even get close to like the high numbers, but also per month or per year, this access fee to beam to the thing. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely upset. But this is the sort of chipping away, selling of the jewels kind of like crap that's been like slowly but surely diminished. I may have said too much. I don't know. Let's get some cartoon clarity and get the hell out. How long is it? Oh, bloody hell. I'm so sorry. I'm very passionate about this because it's just like it's inevitable what's going to happen because it's kind of they've been set up to fail is what I'm trying to illustrate here. So, truth, knowledge, wisdom for this spread, please. Truth, knowledge, wisdom for this spread, please. If anyone's geeky, look into the issues of Project Canvas. That's strategy. They need a plan. This is it. They need a freaking plan. They don't have one. They're ready, but they don't know where they're going. They're eager. Oh, so eager, but they don't know. They don't know where they're going. Oh, it's an ego thing with pride. And then it's they're going to find peace. They're going to find a solution, and it's all going to be good. But I think it's too far gone. They're more focused on cut back, and then actually kind of the benefit to the end user. You see what I'm saying? It like the quality of the programming, the quality of the goods, the quality of the service. Because like, you remember, some people like here's another one. BBC website was brilliant back in the day. It was brilliant. It's just now a glorified TV guide for iPlayer, isn't it? That's all it is now. Apart from the BBC News part of it, pretty like and the like learning zone. Apart from or bite size or whatever they're calling it now. Apart from those two areas which have got actual material there, everything is now been diminished down into just the iPlayer as the there used to be, and I think this is one thing that Doctor Who is doing on their section, is filling it out with backstory and information and kind of have like a Wikipedia of aliens and stuff like that. Like it used to have, a mini site. Yeah? The Greatest Good Tarot website is based on, the concept is based on that version of the BBC iPlayer where everything was a mini site. Or not the iPlayer, sorry, the BBC website, because everything was a mini site. So that it had the basic rules, but then you can play around within your boundaries kind of thing. That's why having a village ID on the Greatest Good Tarot website is so important, because technically speaking, you would have to have a different username and password for every mini site. No, it's like a universal, like the BBC ID. If you ever use that it's exactly the same system. That is over on Greatest Good Tarot. Yeah, I know. Aren't we clever? When it works. But yeah, it's like they've had many engineers do that, and I did it by myself from this chair with my bad back and in the middle of nowhere on a river, coming to you via satellite technology. That's how I've done it. But yes, enough about this. The overarching energy is calm. What I'm getting there is kind of cut back, simplicity, getting back to a simplistic time, justice, equality. Under thing. This feels as if it's more equality, kind of like I keep saying, it's like bringing it down to everybody else's level instead of having like a pinnacle to try and like. Oh, hello. Sorry, the dog is playing around my legs and causing mischief and knocking stuff over. But basically, it's just like instead of like a level for everybody to kind of go up to, it's being diminished so that it's all kind of down to the same level. That's what I feel from equality, like we were talking about before. Anyway, I've ranted way too much. I am so sorry. I do apologise, but these are certain subjects that no one talks about purposefully. And that's why I felt if we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly and actually put it out there. I'm not saying, like I said, I think they're donuts for not doing what they should be doing. But it's purposely being diminished and sold off and all that kind of stuff. Isn't it amazing? Final thing, isn't it amazing that almost like a Gordon Brown selling all the gold at the lowest price possible back in the day. BBC studios, like Elmstree and all that kind of stuff, and the studio for Strictly Come Dancing and all that malarkey, what they own, are all being sold off, right? Bearing in mind, there's phenomenal, technical term, phenomenal tax breaks happening for film and TV productions. That's why they're all coming over here to be based here. Practically everything new filmed on Disney Plus is filmed here. Netflix filmed here because they get 25% or 20 something back. Like they can claim back tax from our coffers. As long as they base the limited company here for their production here, film it here, employ people from here, then it's like they can get a huge tax break. And that's in some respects, there are some Disney productions, including films, that have only broken even because of the tax break. I mean, like, we're talking like big films. We're talking about like the one before Endgame that one, and The Little Mermaid was another one that only broke even because of the tax break from the UK government. Anyway, yeah, see? Insight there. Look at what we get. Look, if you're not subscribed now, one, if you survived this long, bless you, my son and daughter. Well done, you. Two, what else? What other insights do you get from this? Apart from, hopefully it's been entertaining along this time and all that jazz. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe. That'd be gorgeous and lovely and wonderful. And join the village. We're building a village because it takes a village to support everybody. And this is, our village is over multiple platforms. So we've got the YouTube here with the Village Elite members as well, who get extra videos and sexy and gorgeous. We're over on Twitch most Saturdays and Sunday evenings. It's kind of a mix of like free tarot readings and a bit of a radio show like this, and rants and mucking around with the chat and all that kind of stuff. It's like the BBC call-ins like back in the day. And this is a wonderful thing. If you're on the Discord side of things, our village hall, and you link on Discord when you're an elite member, I've just fixed this. It's taken me bloody days to fix it, but it's finally fixed. If you link your YouTube account to your Discord account, it knows that you're an elite member, and it will unlock extra goodies on the Discord server that is available to also via our Twitch subs, which are like the paid version over Twitch. I know it's getting very confusing. They unlock, if they pay, they unlock certain things. You pay, you also get unlocked the same things, including being able to call in on the live streams via our Discord server. The Village Hall is the hub for everything we do, actually. It's everyone thinks it's the website. No, the website still isn't finished. It's the Discord server. It unlocks things. That's where we have done workshops in the past. That's where we've done all sorts of stuff. So it's like that is the main place to be, and flirt over there and start getting to know people over there. They're lovely. Well, some of them. Okay, one or two. But I mean, most of them won't bite. So why not? And also Twitter is our alternative bat signal, just to keep people knowing what's going on. And obviously the website, greatestgoodtarot.com. Similar thing. If you're a paid member over there, you can connect it to your Discord. So it doesn't matter where you're paying, as it were, whatever service you want to unlock on whichever platform, everyone still gets the same benefits on the Discord server. It was like very important to me to kind of have that unity, no matter where you're supporting, which is gracious and beautiful and gorgeous. Everyone still gets the same access because of it. All right. There's no tiers as such. So yeah. Anyway, I've waffled way too much. I do apologise. I've clearly had way too much coffee today. Oh no, push the wrong button. Go away. Got too many buttons now. But until next time, where we do this crazy shenanigans all over again. Take care. Look after yourself. Be well. And thank you for your company. Speak to you soon. Ta-ra.